This is Mark Sale,
Mark?
CEO. This
Yep.
is Mark, CEO of Kids in Distress organization. Fantastic organization. Mark will tell us everything they do.
Awesome. Well, it's a pleasure to have you guys, and a pleasure to share our organization, with new members of the auxiliary, as well as Kids Helping Kids. The first thing I would like to say before I even give you the tour is just a huge shout out to the auxiliary, because many of you may not know is that the auxiliary is our #1 funder, has actually provided more resources and more dollars to kids in distress than any other entity at all, that donates to the agency. So as far as resources and volunteerism and just general advocacy for our program, the Kid Auxiliary is a huge part of our family. So thank you to all of you that have been involved in the auxiliary, and all of you that are just getting involved with the auxiliary. A little bit about Kids in Distress. We've been in the community for 40 years, so we've been around quite a long time. And what probably sets us apart from other nonprofit organizations or even child and family organizations is that we have a very significant continuum of services for children and families. Our mission is to prevent child abuse, provide treatment to children affected by abuse and neglect, and to preserve families, to try to keep families together instead of kids coming into foster care. And really, one of our largest programs is actually not even centered here on our campus that we'll tour today, but the majority of work, about 60% of what we do, is work in the community with families who are either at risk of abuse and neglect, families that need support, or families who have come to the attention of the Florida Abuse Hotline due to domestic violence or substance abuse or even mild child abuse, the children have not been removed. And we go into those homes to actually provide services and support and intervention to make sure that those families stay together. So that's the majority of the work that we actually do. What you'll see here today on our campus is we have a 5-acre campus here in Wilton Manors, but we also have 4 other locations. We have a location of a foster family group home that the auxiliary volunteers with out in Southwest Ranches. And then our affiliate organization is Family Central. So when you think about Kids in Distress, we're like a big umbrella organization. And then Family Central is another organization that sits underneath us. But Family Central actually provides a lot of early childhood education services, training, and then we also operate a preschool down in Miami-Dade for the Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. So overall, Kid and Family Central, which is part of our whole continuum of services, we impact over 20,000 children every single year. And those children are located all the way from Martin County down in the Keys, all the way through Palm Beach County. So the impact of what we do is actually very, very significant. The building you'll see right now, because of COVID, of course, is that we don't have a whole lot of people working here. We went remote with a lot of the intervention that we provide. However, in June, we reopened our preschool and we reopened our aftercare program here on campus. So we actually have about 75 kids that are still here and have been here every single day. And now this week, we're actually starting to increase to phase 2. We'll have about 75% operating of our preschool and our aftercare program. So at any given day, you'll also see that we have 4 foster family group homes here on our campus in Wilton Manors. And then we have 2 additional homes out in Southwest Ranches. And those are kids that are members of sibling groups who have come into foster care. And because we don't have any foster care homes out in the community that can handle 3, 4, 5, or even 6 siblings at a time, we take those kids into our foster family group homes and provide a family-style foster home for them here on our campus. And those are kids that are all under the age of 12.
So it's like a boarding school.
I get, kind of like a boarding school. Yeah, we try to operate as very much a family. So we have 4 homes, and then there's a family that lives individually in that home. So there's a foster mom, and 3 of our homes, and then 3 of our homes have couples in them. So we have a foster mom and a foster dad, and so they live with anywhere between 5 and 7 kids at any given time. And those kids stay with us until what we call permanency occurs. So permanency means that we're working on reunification for them to go back with their birth family, or they're going to a relative caregiver like a grandmother or a grandparent, or those kids are free for adoption. So when kids come into foster care, the goal is always to try to reunify them with their birth families. If that doesn't occur, then the next significant event is that we try to find an adoptive family that would be like a forever home for those kids. And the building that we're in right now is actually our reception building. So it's kind of like an outpatient The outpatient building of our campus, we do substance abuse intervention, domestic violence intervention, parent education, and family visitation for parents whose kids are in foster care. And they've been court ordered into those services. Right now we're doing most of that work remote, although we're doing some family visitation currently. And if you come with me, I'll actually show you one of our visitation rooms.
Oh, pleasure.
And what that
Thank
looks
you.
like. So this is one of our family visitation rooms. Like I said, this building that we have here has 3 different family visitation rooms. We facilitate supervised and therapeutic visitation for families whose children are in foster care, where a therapist sits with the family and provides intervention or role modeling for that parent in order to assure that that child goes back to them on in a time-limited basis. Families whose children have been removed and put in foster care have 9 months to be able to work what's called a case plan in order to get their children back. And a case plan might include parenting skills intervention, it might include substance abuse intervention, it might include that they have to get a stable housing for their children. But essentially it's a plan that's written by a case manager and a judge, and then the judge court orders those tasks. What our team does is our team provides a lot of those tasks in collaboration with some of our partners in the community, and then we report back to the judge to be able to recommend, with those collaborative partners, whether that child should be reunified with their parents or whether that child should be freed for adoption. Like I said, parents have about 9 months to be able to work on their case plan and sort of get all their ducks in a row, so to speak. Otherwise, a judge would then order that to happen. We're a little bit different when it comes to reunification services because we provide a lot of services in a co-located space. So that's our reunification program that's operated here. The other services that are offered out of this building are maternal health services. We work with moms who don't have a real significant support system, both prenatally and at birth and after birth. As a matter of fact, many of our case managers actually accompany those moms when they're having their baby, when they're birthing their baby, because they don't have any other support systems. Those are our healthy, we call them our healthy programs, our healthy families and our healthy start programs. And those are community-based programs. So those are both programs where we go out to the family's home and provide those services to them. Components of those programs include hooking them up to a medical provider, making sure that they have an OBGYN, making sure that they have a pediatrician, making sure the babies are immunized, providing parent education to them, working with them on substance abuse and smoking cessation and breastfeeding and those kind of things. One of the programs, Healthy Start, is about 3 to 6 months, and then Healthy Families is actually a 4-year program. And then we have another program that's operated through our Family Central brand that is called Hippie. And Hippie is a program that provides instruction to parents to become their first teacher. So those are all of our programs that are provided to families whose children are under the age of 5. And those are all community-based programs, so they're offered in the community.
Wow, so you have many lines, like from birth to
Yeah, yep. Again,
what's the eldest age of kids?
We actually have teenagers that are in our foster homes. We don't have any teenagers that are in our campus homes, either here or in Southwest Ranches, but in our foster homes that we license in the community. And at any given time, we have between 160 and 170 foster homes with about 200 children in both Broward and Palm Beach counties. And those homes take children between the ages of birth and 18. We don't have a lot of teenagers in our homes, but we do have children of all ages that are provided. And then we partner with different organizations like Children's Harbor or the Flight Center to facilitate services for those kids when they what we call age out, when they're 18, so that they're still supported by their foster parent, but also supported by the community when they age out of foster care.
Okay, thank you.
To our campus, and I just want to tell you a little bit about our history, is that Kids in Distress actually started as a shelter, like I said earlier, 40 years ago. And at one time we had 100 kids that lived on our campus. We had 60 kids that lived in our shelter, and we had about 36 kids that lived in our group home program that is behind me. Since then, what we've done is we actually almost put ourselves out of business, is that we were able to empty our shelters and place all those kids with families in the community, as opposed to having a residential program for kids under the age of 12. Because one of the things that was figured out over time is that placing babies, especially with multiple caregivers or a shift staff environment, is just not very healthy. The healthiest option is to place children in a foster home with a mom or dad, or a single mom or 2 dads. We license all kinds of families to be able to take children. But one of the things that we figured out after we closed our shelter was the fact that there's many sibling groups who there just can't be a foster family found for them. And so we reopened 6 homes and designated them as our sibling homes that we call our foster family group homes. And we took some of our foster parents and we actually offered them a position, and they moved into one of our homes and are employed by us, but they're still licensed as foster parents. So the home is run like a foster program. It's run like a family. They have dinner together. They make rules together. They also, spend time together just like a regular family in the community would. The only difference is that they're here, and because there's so many kids, we can provide them with a lot more support. Those kids attend our after-school program. Those kids attend our preschool, and they also receive services from our family counseling center. So our therapists who provide infant mental health, cognitive behavioral therapy, attachment therapy, all kinds of different modalities to be able to deal with the trauma that is associated with them being removed from their parents in care. The other thing that occurred when we downscaled our residential programs, the number of kids that lived here, is we kind of reorganized our programs. And one of the things that we did is we opened up this facility in back of you, which is our dental clinic. So we partnered with Nova Southeastern University, and we completely outfitted this building to operate a pediatric dental clinic. And this is Nova Southeastern University's main pediatric dental clinic now. And you might ask, why did we do that? Because back in 2009, we figured out that only about half of the children that were in foster care were actually receiving dental services on time. There was a huge gap because all those children have Medicaid, and there were no dentists out here that would take Medicaid. So what we did is we opened this clinic, and we're very proud to say that now we offer services to about 2,500 children in our dental clinic, and close to 100% of the kids that are in foster care now receive dental services on time. I'll walk you through, probably one of the things I'll do is I'm going to check and see if there's anybody in the building, and then I'll walk you through the dental clinic so you can kind of tape as you go through. Let me see if there's anybody in. So we've gone a little bit deeper into the Kids in Distress campus, and behind me is our Leslie Mitchell Jones Educational and Recreational Center. And one of the things that we do here on campus is that we have 2 educational programs. Our kid preschool, and our kid preschool is licensed for 150 children, although we only usually have about 115 to keep our ratios low. And then we have another 90 kids that attend our after school and summer camp program. As a result of COVID-19, we actually had to scale back significantly. And we had, during the summertime this year, about 36 kids here. And then we operated, when school started, with what we call pods. So we established 4 different pods of kids that came to our campus and attended school virtually here with our staff. And so what we're starting to do now is we're actually starting to build that up a little bit. So we'll probably have about 50 of our kids that are in aftercare that will start to come beginning next week. And then our preschool will go up to about 100 kids from, I think we're right now at about 75 in the next couple of weeks. This is Kevin behind me. Kevin is the director of our educational program. So he's the boss when it comes to education here on campus. Preschool. Our kid preschool, as I said before, is licensed for 150 kids, and the kids that come to our preschool come from a variety of different places. They're kids that are in some of our foster homes, they're kids that are on our campus foster family group homes. They're also kids that are in subsidized care, so there's children who are with families who are at low income and need a place for their children to come. One of the things that we're really proud about with our school is that we have very highly skilled and trained teachers. We have a great facility. So we really operate our preschool like many private preschools in the community with the same type of services and the same type of curriculum, and the teachers, that are very skilled that are here. So right now we're operating at about 50% capacity, but we do have some kids that are enrolled in the program on a daily basis, and we're actually starting to add kids into the program this coming week, as a matter of fact. We're actually increasing the number of kids. So there's a few kids that are here, so you can pan over and kind of take a look at the kids if you like. So on Mondays, well, actually, I should talk a little bit about what has happened with the switch, or as a result of COVID-19, is that when COVID-19 struck and a lot of our programs had to go virtual, we actually started up a food distribution program on our campus. So we provide food to 500 families in collaboration with Feeding South Florida and another agency called Flippany. And this whole parking lot turns into a food distribution program. both our staff as well as families who are in the community who can pick up food, drive through our parking lot, and we provide them with about 3 days worth of food because we have many family members with the families that we work with who are out of work or unemployed and need some type of assistance. So on Mondays, it gets really, really busy on our campus with all that food distribution. And then we actually, about half of those families get drop-offs in the community. So we actually drop that food off to their doorstep along with curriculum that we provide to them through some of our intervention programs.
Well, hearing everything about your organization, you are doing an amazing job providing all these services, all these different programs. And I hope that as many people as can join this program and make this kit possible.
So thank you for joining us on our, I guess, virtual tour of Kids in Distress. And again, I think I started with a thank you, but I also want to end with a thank you to do a shout out to all of those auxiliary members who have, gone alongside of us, have built alongside of us, because there are many, many members of the auxiliary that have been here as long as I have, or even longer. For some of them 30 plus years. So thank you for coming along on this virtual tour. And one of the things I know we're hoping to do is actually set up a virtual meeting where we can answer any questions that folks might have as a result of doing this video. So thank you for coming along with us. And again, thank you for impacting our kids and breathing so much inspiration into the kids and the families that we work with.